Presenting Rosetta Stone in Wonderland.
Wonderland. Walking in the park, my body leans forward with each step, signaling absorption and intent, even though directionless. My eyes see trees decked out in dizzying splendor, mirthfully mocking me with commanding girth, rooted in an embracing stance. I am dwarfed, like Giacometti's skeletal figures walking in emptiness. A specter of my former self, a diminished face avoiding other cloaked faces seeking protection. Grouped and alienated, a frightened species walks vigorously to assert identity, desperately looking for empathy and recognition from other mannequins walking to affirm their strength in the faceless wonderland. We walk to escape and look to the permanence of comforting trees. Pocket Park Retreat. Feeling the urge to escape my enclosure, I set out early on a brisk sunny morning and followed my usual loop from York to Park. On a whim, I stopped for coffee, intending to return home and sip reverently. But the invigorating air made me eager to prolong my feeling of liberation. So, I decided to check out the Pocket Park. Set back from the street, ample and fronted by steps, it is frequently overlooked. Sure enough, not a soul in sight. Chose a spot between two impressive planters potted with Galway green shrubs. Removed my mask and felt the breeze on my face, a maskless novelty. Silence and emptiness made me feel like a figure in a Di Chirico painting, not even a sparrow in sight. The giant rough-hewn planters became props in an Italian piazza. But one of the planters was empty. It took on a dimension of simplistic beauty, arte povera, unembellished. Just a physical presence in a space. My morning in a pocket park became an exhilarating museum experience on 79th Street. Kettle to kettling. My tea kettle sits on my stovetop with its lid and decorative handle, beckoning simply a benign cauldron. Steam escapes through the spout, boiling water seeps my tea bag. Kettling, with its kinship to kettle, evokes a different reality. Peaceful protesters corralled, encircled by police officers closing ranks, squeezing faceless people into a cluster. A military-style phalanx with shields, chemical sprays, batons aloft, kettling bystanders and protesters. Blurred outlines, no longer citizens exercising their First Amendment right to assemble peacefully, seeking daylight in madness. No safety valve, no escape hatch, no rational objective, corralled and kettled before the eyes of the world. Signals. Receiving a gift plant leaves me feeling ambivalent. A thriving yellow flower, cosseted in leafy green, demands attention and nurturing. Seeing that lone flower in front of my Sunday window compels me to acknowledge its presence. So I sit facing the window, occasionally glancing in its direction, reading its body language. Picturesque petals signal vitality. A wistful posture signals neglect. Urgency, a stooping head. The final plea requires an act of resuscitation. Water must flow cautiously to avoid drowning the once pert flower. To my astonishment, my flower receives to succumb. Its head slowly cranes upward. Startled by nature's resilience, my thoughts stretch. Ensuring survival of a gift requires an engaged response. Neglected flowers among us sound a similar alarm. Monarch. Sitting on a bench in the same tranquil garden, you would find me wearing a mask. No table to spread a paper or perch a cup of coffee. No matter, cross-kneed, paper balanced on my lap the morning your landing startled. A searing pang of loss, a stab of recognition. Your reassuring guise telegraphing the expansiveness of my way forward. A departure as solemn as your arrival, distilling the moment shared. No monarch sighted in my sanctuary, but your gift steadies me, bewildered and masked, squirming in the jaws of Corona. I dedicate this poem to all caregivers, all first responders, and all people on the front lines in our country and the world. Solo flight. I arrived stripped of familiar and comforting talismans, no adornments, photos, cell phone cast aside, identity reduced to plasticized IDs allowing passage. Sensing my presence, a temple promising healing opens. Walking with an attendant sensitive to the shift shaping lives, my mind recalls those sidelined as a result of COVID's rampage. In the chokehold of this pestilence, a human stream arrived on gurneys for a solo flight. Hovered over by caregivers without a flight plan. No protocol manual or protective equipment. Only medical practice, compassion, and faith. Hearts swell in a frantic struggle with an elusive demon. COVID's victims will not reach the runway to the future. In our tech-centric world, where connectivity is all, COVID skirts the tentacles of the cloud, becoming king of the hill, flaunting its dominance while governance fumbles, broadcasting mind-numbing platitudes. I shiver thinking about unpreparedness that plunged each singular life into a medical dystopia. It is impossible to fathom the suffering endured when hospitals of hope became chambers of despair. My somber thoughts faded when I was greeted by caregivers who still brought the best of themselves in the care of others. Having faced senseless deaths, their goal was my safe landing. Thank you. We had some